Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Mark from TCG Discussions coming here to talk to you about the Red Purple Law bans and the Enix Lobby ban on the new One Piece list. We're going to make this a really quick video. Just wanted to get it out there as fast as I could to you guys. I have a Lucci guide. Just some quick house cleaning before we get into the video. I have a Lucci guide, but I'm probably not going to bring it because that build is like rather bad right now. So I'm going to probably scrap that video and then make a new one. But when I do, it'll be pretty good, up to date. So with like a really good competitive list that I have going right now. So we'll see. Anyway, let's just get right into the meat and potatoes of the video. Red Purple Law, leader, banned. Good riddance in a lot of ways. I love the leader, I really do. ST10 came out, it was the first leader that I was actually interested in playing because of like removal on top of like playing a card, just seemed really good. But dear God, like he just continued to get support that wasn't even Heart Pirate support, that just broke him. And then he just annihilated the entire meta for it. And then Black Maria came out, and like that was just the final nail in the coffin. He was way too good, way too powerful leader, basically tier 0 in 08. And Gate kept a lot of decks out of the game. Gate kept Reiju pretty much. Nami can't really survive. Just a lot of like stuff going for it. And before everyone's like, well, Nami's winning here right now, like, yeah, she's winning now, but like in 08, she would get completely phased out. There won't be like really there just won't be anything for her to really do because she'll have way too much Dawn and just put the numbers on and beat her. Kept Calgara out of the meta. Now he'll be back. Kept putting her out of the meta because she's a 4-life leader, doesn't really like have the sustain to like withstand his onslaught. And then furthermore, like anything that she plays is just subject to getting bottom decked, and then Black Maria is just like way too good, and then you just like go for math and just annihilate them. And then Red Purple Luffy also kind of get kept by Red Purple Law. He's just the better Red Purple leader, and I think that now, like if you are a Red Purple Law player, you can like pivot to Red Purple Luffy. He's like really, really strong still for the color combination. And then you know, just continuing on. He had 3 really broken effects. He played a card, he Dawn minused, and he removed a card at the same time. All of that should not be printed on a leader card. I don't know anyone who was like trying to argue that he shouldn't be banned is like not realizing that his effect is literally worse than Sakazuki's. Playing out Reiju just completely bypassed his biggest flaw, which was to generate hand advantage. Queen is also up there and assisting in that. Caulifla was a 2K that we used before then. Furthermore, you've got Rush in red and all the low-cost cards like Zoro and Kid Killer just doing way too much. And that, not just that, like the blockers. I mean, you have Sanji 2K blocker, you've got Queen, you've got Kid, you've got Law blocker. So the deck had an incredible amount of defense, a lot more consistency, a lot more hand advantage while just putting bodies on the board that swing 5 and beat you down. And that's just way too much for a lot of the meta to handle. It just made the numbers like really, really super bad and not really fun to play against, especially when like they use Dawn minus effects and then play out like a Pudding and a Black Maria at the same time. Like they just have like a bunch of Dawn to do whatever they want, and then their numbers get like way too tall with how easily wide the board gets. And it's just like super problematic situation that like is basically going to be repeated even if they ban Black Maria. Like, even if they ban Black Maria, like, Law will still be a problem down the line, and so I kind of agree, ban the card. Next, Eni's Lobby. Okay, Eni's Lobby is not the card everybody wanted to hit. Everyone wanted to hit Gecko Moria, so I'm going to say 2 things to that. Number 1, all y'all who was saying Gecko Moria is going to get hit, get owned. I told you it wasn't going to happen. There's no way they're going to take the meta diversity of the game and just slaughter it for 1 card. There's no way they'll do that. They're not going to kill Perona, Gecko, Lucci, and Black Yellow Luffy in 1 foul swoop from competitive play just because everyone hates Gecko Moria. Okay? And the biggest proponent of Gecko Moria abuse is Lucci. Okay? And this is where the Eni's Lobby kind of comes in. Okay, so if you don't know, Gecko Moria plays Rebecca, plays Helmeppo, or Spandam. Then Rebecca grabs Spandine, which then bottom decks 3 CP cards to play Lucci. So you played 5 cards for 8 Dawn. Total top end cost of that is 21 Dawn with the Helmeppo play, with a 3 reduction on top of whatever you've already reduced for the turn with Lucci. It's an 8 Dawn play, so at 10 Dawn, you could do double Tempest Kick or Ice Age Tempest Kick or what have you, and simultaneously just continue to get this massive reduction. You could kill big cards, you could kill multiple small cards with this Lucci play. So it's a really broken play. I won't take that from you. But every deck has its power plays. Every deck does its powerful things. Like Black Yellow Luffy, for example, builds a 9k leader while playing 2 blockers that make the entire board immune to being KO'd and protecting that Moria, so Lucci can't even clap back at it. And then simultaneously, like, you know, just kind of like wins the game off of being a 9k leader during your opponent's turn, making it very hard to attack it without at least big bodies on the board, and then setting that whole like counter clap back status at you. And if you do present like a lethal threat, you just block and then repeat, and now you have 9k Moria to swing with on top of that, and then still getting that same defense while being 9k, and then having the 11k pressure from your leader. So it's a potent combination. Perona is, you know, Ryuma draw, like play out a blocker that can't be KO'd, and, you know, all that, like, that stops your stuff from being KO'd. You remove a card, you get to have this 8-9k, it's pretty good, right? Then you've got, you know, Lucci with the play that I described previously, and you have Gecko Moria. The card was designed for that deck, right? And you're not just going to slaughter all four meta decks in a row. I mean, Perona's not really meta. She did get a top 16 recently, but she's not like really meta. But you're not going to slaughter 4 decks just for one card. That's just way too much. It's like one thing if like everyone's, and I get everyone's gripe. It's like literally Gecko Moria is carrying black right now. Like it's a ridiculous card. Should probably go. Like that's like that's what people say. But every color has a card that carries them, right? Gravity Blade is currently the only thing that makes blue really good. You have like Doflamingo 10 drop making Bonnie even remotely relevant in Cavendish, right? And then like you've got Zoro there to like just beat down Enel. Enel has Ace, Yamato, Katakuri, and 7 cost Enel, which is 7 cost Enel is one of the most toxic cards in the game with the Enel leader. Like it just is like. Black cannot get rid of it without like some backwards combination of cards, or like putting like 5-6 Luffy on the board before attempting to KO it, just so that stupid thing doesn't get its effect to simply trash a life, and then they just go back to 2 the next turn because like they have 15 cards in hand and you can't really do anything with it, right? Same thing for blue. Blue struggles to out the card simply because like they go to out it, they spend 6 down on Red Rock, which is the only thing in the game that can actually hit it for blue right now. Or like 10 cost Kaido, only for them to again trash a life and then like defend whatever attack you have left, and then just like go back up to 2 and still have this 7k rush swing. So like really powerful cards. 12 Lin. Don't even start about 12 Lin. 12 Lin is broken, okay? And she's going to be really, really powerful now that Red Purple Law is gone in the purple yellow pudding deck. And if you think Gecko's a problem now, wait till you get hit at your 8 Dawn curve by a 12 Lin, and then another one, and then like a 9 Lin or another one. You're going to hate 12 Lin again, okay? Point being, you know, we got Dofi, we got 12 Lin, we've got Gecko, we've got, you know, Gravity Blade, 10 cost, draw 4 Kaido, we've got, you know, for purple, it's about to become the take a turn Luffy. We've got Nami just as a deck existing in the ether, all this other stuff. So like removing Gecko just is like stupid. It just basically takes black out back and says you're not playing the game anymore. Like you can't play the game, every other color gets to. And everyone's like, well, black's the best color, black's the best color, black's the best color. Well, I mean, is it the best color? Like right now, Nami is winning at an unprecedented rate in this game's history. You've got several decks that are still high tier competitive in Red Purple Law, in the Supernova leader Bonnie, and like there's Enel, there's so many facets you can play. Dofi is only going to get better with this new support. Marco's only going to get better now that Red Purple Law is gone. So this idea nonsense that like we can just ignore everything else and ban Gecko was really stupid. Now, Tiny Sloppy, like the main crux point. I still think you needed to do something to Lucci. Like, the entire Gecko play is, like, way too good. Like, if you don't hit it, what was the next hit? My proposal was Rebecca, right? My proposal is Rebecca. Why? Rebecca is everything to Lucci. She is. She's the queen of the deck. If Lucci's king on a chessboard, the queen is Rebecca. Rebecca enables everything, okay? She enables everything. If not, it would just be like Gecko, play Lucci, play down freaking like Helmeppo. And it would look like a lot like Sakazuki, but like just kind of meh, right? It's just kind of, that is kind of meh. But when I pitch a blocker, another 2K, a 3K, a 6K, and a 9K all for one, yeah, that's pretty good. That's a lot better, right? Like, we're talking about a completely different board state, completely different game. You're getting defense, removal, offense generation. It is everything in one. But the thing that they did, and I really, really like this, is that they hit Ennies lobbies. Now, there's two caveats to this: what it does now and what it does later. But what it does now, right? Ennies lobbies is a busted card. It is a completely busted card in the 07 meta. In fact, if you're not playing Ennies lobbies and Lucci, you've done something wrong. It's just that simple. You're doing something wrong, right? It's wrong. You're wrong. Stop not playing it. Stop not playing it at 4. I see people trying to play it at 3 because, like, oh, it's bricky and this and that. And then the one thing that I always come back to, the Lucci mirror is won by the cards that you see that your opponent didn't. And that is just like the end of the day, right? But the field spell, Ennies lobbies, is stage, I should say, is the primary catalyst of that predicament, okay? If you see stage and your opponent doesn't, they've lost the game. I just played 5 games in a row last night where 4 out of those 5 games, I did not see stage, and my opponent did every single time by turn 2. And I lost every single one of those games. It didn't matter that I eventually got stage. It didn't matter that I got stage at 10 dawn, right? It just mattered that every turn up to that point, he was able to handle my board a lot easier than I was able to handle his because of the cost reduction. It is a broken stage. Between the leader effect and the stage effect, -3 cost to anything on the board is ridiculous. So let me like put this into perspective from like my current build that like makes this really stupid. If you played 8 cost category to get rid of my Moria, all I'd have to do is tap stage, swing with leader, and spend 4 dawn on a finger gun and mill 2 cards and KO your category. Okay? That cost me 4 dawn to get rid of your 8 cost. If you think that that's acceptable, something's wrong. Okay? On top of it, the stage had a trigger, right? It had a trigger that when it came out of your life, it just played itself. So like your opponent was like, oh, they don't have stage. Yeah, I'm like swinging a life at 5 life, and then like stage triggers in. You're like, I've lost the game. Like right there, attacking their life, just like lost you the game. And it really burns people into the ground to have that stage. That free reduction cannot be like underestimated in any capacity whatsoever. The caveat to that, before we like talk about the real reason that card needed to go, the caveat to that is that in 08, and this is like the second part of it, they aren't really playing stage. And the reason they're not is because they're going with Tempest Kick, Ice Age because of Jack. Jack requires you to have Ice Age. Tempest Kick is a little too good of a value to not have in the deck because it is also draw a card and it is a -3. But Ice Age is a flat 5 reduction, which is extremely necessary to get rid of your opponent's opposing Jack. Because Jack makes himself an 11 cost, Ice Age, like the same thing that I said. And if you don't know what Jack's ability, right, this reduction of 5 from Ice Age is really, really necessary for Jack because he has an ability that he can rest himself to KO a card, draw a card, and pitch a card from your hand. So he's like kind of like the Sokka filter, but he can hit a 3 or less. And the thing that is when he goes to KO card, the card he KOs is 3 or less. So what makes this really important is like, well, okay, he's a 7 cost, so you get rid of him, but he has another passive effect that during your opponent's turn, he gains +4 cost. So he's an 11 cost, and a lot of people are using Ice Age to reduce and handle that properly so that he can actually get removed off the board. But stage plus Ice Age really kind of helps like facilitate that more because it's leader reduction, ice age reduction, then followed by stage reduction. This takes him all the way down, okay, to a 3 cost, meaning that your opposing Jack can then subsequently remove that Jack immediately, draw a card, get rid of a card. And with stage gone, that's not possible, okay? With stage gone, this completely decimates the whole kind of curb going on with it. Now, Finger Pistol is about to get even more broken because now we're going to all pivot to Ice Age. And this scenario that I'm pitching to you about like 08 Lucci is really curbed by not having the possibility of any slobbies, period. It is really curbed by it because of the fact that stage existed in tandem with Ice Age. Jack was literally able to get rid of a 10 cost card simply between Ice Age and for 1 Dawn. At 8 Dawn, you could kill a 10 cost card. That's it. Like that is broken. And people are going to look for that same kind of synergy out of Jack still with Ice Age, but now it's going to cost you something else. It's going to cost you another Dawn, maybe a Tempest Kick, maybe some other form of reduction that's on the board. I don't know, but it's going to cost you something else. And that is the primary reason why I'm okay with stage getting hit here. Lucci needed to be checked in some way. I didn't think they would touch the stage, but I'm glad they did. It's a super busted card. Like, people do not understand how, like, in the weight and gravity of Rob Lucci's removal, that stage really, and I mean really, puts it over the top. It's what makes Lucci better than Saka by a mile, other than the fact that he doesn't bottom deck, okay? All that to say, like, Lucci, glad he got touched in some way. The stage needed to go. It's busted right now in 07. I think it falls off a little bit in 08, but it's still a really powerful card. And you can see with all the numbers that I'm talking about how, like, stage Jack, Lucci, and Gecko is still, like, really, 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 really stupid. So, to me, kudos to Bandai. This is a very great list. I'm super happy that they did not ban Gecko Moria like everyone was calling for. I think that if you're wanting Gecko Moria ban, you literally want like a triangle meta that's boring, unfun, and not open to anybody at all. Like, that's just what, like, that's what I think. And before you're like, oh, well, it didn't change that Lucci still gets to play 5 cards. No, it doesn't. It doesn't change that at all. But, like, what it does change is that Lucci may not be able to KO your board. They may be only able to get rid of 1 card instead of 2. They may be able to, like, get rid of only, like, the high cost card, but you still have your 4-5 or your 4-6 attackers on the board. They may now have to pivot to only targeting the 4-6 or the 4, leaving your high cost card. I don't know. But what I do know is that, like, this is a great nerf, probably to the second best deck on the meta by far of 08. And to me, I think that is fair. It's warranted. It's a busted card. Get rid of it. Thank God, good riddance. And kudos to Bandai for not giving in to the public hype of trying to get rid of Gecko Moria. Like I said, slaughtering 4 decks and literally nerfing the competitive viability and, like, the diversity of the meta for getting rid of 1 card is really stupid. Maybe make other decks, and I've always been a fan. I've never been a fan of nerfing. I've always been a fan of buffing. So buff these other cards or these other colors to be into a good position. And with stage gone, Blue Dofi is going to be a lot better. I think that, like, it's going to be a lot easier. I mean, I still think that, like, Rob Lucci is still, like, a high counter to it, but, like, I also don't think that it's nearly as toxic as it was with stage. So I'm hyper happy with this. Let's wrap up by talking about the new Red Purple Law Leader. It is absolutely garbage. It is trash. It is probably worse than the Sakazuki promo because it is not a blue-black combination. At least the Sakazuki promo had that going for it, plus the ability to still reduce on the leader effect. He just doesn't get to draw a card, pitch a card. But he does get to fill the discard a little bit, and he still gets that reduction, but it is a straight minus from your hand, which is pretty bad. But this new effect is just completely bonkers and absolutely terrible. So you Dawn -3, activate main, to return a 3,000 or like higher card on your board to the bottom of the deck to play out a Heart Pirates 4 or less from your hand. Absolutely trash. And it is exactly what that leader, in my opinion, quote unquote, deserved. I know Law is a fan favorite. I know a lot of people like him. Like I said, I liked him too. But the problem with Red Purple Law existing, period, was that it wasn't just going to be Black Maria. It wasn't just going to be Kid Killer or Captain Kid Blocker or Sanji Blocker or any of the other cards. There would be the next card that comes out for red or for purple, and it would just completely break the game again for him. And in order to just avoid that altogether, they made a new leader and banned the old one. And I think that is the only move. Unlike Sakazuki, right? Red Purple Law is a bigger problem than Sakazuki, okay? He is a much bigger problem than Sakazuki was. In fact, I'm pretty sure that if Sakazuki played in 08, he would still get his teeth kicked in by Law. Like, Law would eat him alive, okay? Rebecca is terrible. The Gecko plays are way worse than they are in Lucci. Lucci literally can keep up with Sakazuki. Like, it is not simply like, oh, you Hound Blaze Brenu 6. Okay, 2k counter out of that. Take a damage from, like leader swing. And then, like, at any lobbies, just get rid of the Brenu, swing into the Brenu, do something else, play a card. And then eventually, their Gecko Moria playing 5 cards on the board just makes yours look like absolute hot garbage. It's just the bottom line. Especially with Great Eruption gone. Like, Great Eruption being gone, like, what are you going to do? Play Stage, Ice Age, all this other stuff? Fine, go ahead and do it. Their stage is still better than yours. Their leader reduction is on attack. It's still just as good as yours. And they're filling their trash more consistently than you ever will. So, in my opinion, I think that this was, this leader, right, was just too toxic to allow to exist. And I'm happy that it's gone. Implications in the meta. I think Red Purple Luffy is going to be good again. I think Nami's going to get better. I think that, which is really super unfortunate. The only other thing I wish they would have done is ban Nami. Nami should not exist as a leader in the game. She's too toxic. Do not care if you disagree with that opinion or you think it's skill for its side. It's not. It's just absolutely not. Like, just watching the tournaments online that like have like showcased Nami, Treasure Cups or anything, regionals, Pasadena, we just had one where I think it got second place again. There was like 3 in the top 8. Like, it's disgusting. Like, Black Yellow Luffy winning is like everyone's like mad because there was like so many Black Yellow Luffys, despite the fact that Black Yellow Luffy hasn't won a regional ever. They're just mad because they saw Gecko Moria hit the board and it does a bunch of good stuff. Like terrible. That is a terrible take. But Nami has been present since her inception. She's only gotten better, and right now she is hyper consistently stupid. So, wish that leader would have absolutely been banned, but unfortunately, you still get to play Solitaire until Bandai decides otherwise. So she gets better. Anel gets way better. Calgura gets extremely better. Purple Yellow Pudding, really broken now. She's really good. King and Marco also get a massive buff because, like, they're not having to, like, under-compete with Law's removal. They can kind of just do what they want to do, and it's relatively good. Now, they still have their, like, bad counters and matchups. Like, Lucci is still a better removal deck than any of these other ones, and was going to continue to be. But now you're not just getting rushed down by, like, Kid Killer, like, Black Maria, just give me, like, 9 Dawn, -3 Dawn, and, like, all this other stuff, and then stack, like, the Kid Killers and give you, like, 11, 11, 7, and, like, you just die. Like, instead of, like, something like that happening, you just get to, like, do what you, like, you just get to do what you're, wanting to do, and just having, like, a lot more fun doing it. With your other leaders, and still being able to play removal with different varieties and different types and different strategies and different cards. And so I think, to me personally, I think this is a great thing for the game. This is a perfect list. Shout outs to you, Bandai. You nailed it on this one. And I think that going forward, especially for us in 08, if we get this ban list right away in 08, it is going to be very, 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 very good for everybody involved. Very healthy. I think that a meta full of 08 Law would have been absolutely 100% toxic and terrible. Everyone and their mother would have just... It would have been worse than Sakazuki, okay? Like, when Sakazuki was around, there was a debate to whether or not Sakazuki was, like, the best deck, okay? Like, a lot of people, like, would die on the hill that Sakazuki was the best deck. And yet, Sakazuki didn't win nearly the number of nationals or tournaments as either Anel, Purple Luffy... Like, it didn't win nearly as much. And in that triangle meta where it was like Purple Luffy, Anel, and Sakazuki, it was primarily won by Anel and Purple Luffy. Like, all the nats were. Most events, there wasn't a single win for Sakazuki in the United States. Like, not a single win at a regional for that. Even Whitebeard won an event, won a nationals over Sakazuki, okay? So, my point being that, like, that was just not even remotely the case with Law. There wasn't a conversation to even have whether or not Red Purple Law was the best deck. Okay, it was the best deck. It undoubtedly, 100% without fail, was the strongest deck. There's not a person alive that has played against an '08 Red Purple Law playing whatever deck you think is good, ran right into that and not just realized that Black Maria absolutely breaks whatever game plan you think is acceptable to have. There's just not a hope in any way, shape, or form that Red Purple Law deserved Black Maria. Okay? And absolutely took him way over the top. Like, way over the top. I mean, he hasn't won an event in 07. I want you to, like, imagine this. He has not won an event in 07 yet. I do not think that he has won one regional. I could be wrong about that, but I do not believe that he has won a regional. Okay? He went from whatever that is right now for us, he would go from that to winning every single event, minus barring probably one. Because, like, some guy comes in with some rogue deck, and it would not be close. He would literally, like, his pie charts were worse than Sakazuki's. His top 16 representations were sometimes 12 or 13 of the top 16 were Red Purple Law. Like, especially in the beginning, it was awful. Like, there was nothing to do. It's so bad. So toxic and so bad. I am so glad we get to avoid that. We get to go into 08 with, fresh hearts and open minds. Hopefully King can actually be good. We'll have to see. But also Red Purple Luffy, man. I'm telling you, if you guys like, hey, listen, guys. If you like Red Purple Law and you don't mind playing the other guy named Luffy, having 3 life and playing a little game of chicken with your life, coupled with like some sauce on the side, and a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and skip your turn here, and I'm gonna kill you with that. Like, Red Purple Luffy might be your guy this next coming set. And he is very, very strong into Nami. So if you think Nami is going to be continuously be a problem, I can honestly tell you, not even just theory, but in practice, that skipping your opponent's turn and not letting them reset all their Dawn, having a 12k attacker on the board, and then playing Black Maria to get all your Dawn back, and then like simultaneously like doing it again, just straight up beats Nami. It's pretty bad. She kind of crumbles. Right? And if you go into 9 Dawn, get to play a Dragon, you get to go Dragon 9, and then you get to go Dragon 9 again, and then like Luffy 8, and then you get to, skip a turn after you go 9, and then you get to do the thing, and then go up to, swing 7, 12, and then you get to take another turn, and then you get to play Black Maria, get that, little rad beam, and then you get to get all your Dawn back, and then you get to swing 12 and 7 again, and then you're like, okay, kill me now, win the game, or I'm gonna take another turn. So it's really good. It's pretty good. It's actually kind of good. Reiju, right? If you're Reiju right now, you are loving this. You no longer have to worry about not being able to play your game plan because Law just like straight up down -3 and like your deck just stopped functioning. So like you get to finally play the game. A little bit concerned because honestly, I think Reiju is a toxic piece of crap that needs to be removed from the game, but that's okay. I love her, but she shouldn't be able to draw 3 cards at least every turn. That's just absolutely insane. Even if it, like Queen blocker alone with Reiju is a little too much. So hopefully we get to this place where like Reiju just doesn't become the next Red Purple Law. We're gonna have to look at her and ban her. And the thing is like Black Maria with Reiju is actually kind of a lot worse than she is with Red Purple Law because guess what? It's not being played for free. That would be Black Maria. Now, I think Porsche still can probably play her for free, which is kind of, but it's still not nearly as bad as, just playing it out for free and then getting 5 Dawn and then Dawn, or just playing it outright, then like getting 5 Dawn and minusing 3 of the 5 free Dawn that you got for the turn and not actually costing you anything, and then just swinging for like whatever godforsaken number that you wanted to, and then like, oh look, I couldn't counter that, so I guess I'll go to 2, and then like it's like, oh, do you have like 2 or 3 Kid Killers in hand because like Black Maria just like kept you at Dawn and now you're at 8, and it's like, Kid Killer minus activate Black Maria effect, go up 2 more Dawn, use 3 of the 2 Dawn, play Kid Killer, and then like play Kid Killer again, and it's like just really, really obnoxious. So at least it's not that. At least we're not having to deal with that. And then if you're a Nell, you're actually really happy because law was just way too, law was just way too much for a Nell. Like next set, like it didn't matter, man. Like you're getting, listen, bub, No. No, you have no hope. Like, your 7-L does not work against Law at all because it's power reduction, which means they'll just attack over the card even if you they'll make it a 1K and then swing 5 into it, and you're gonna invest like 3 cards to protect it, and then it's just probably going to get bottom decked. You're going to trash a life on top of your 3 cards. And if it's your 1 life, then you're really going to be hurting because you're going to get rid of another card, and then you just lose. And Nell just 7 cost of Nell now actually gets a little bit of a breather because he has no like hard counters in red besides Marco. And make no mistake, Marco will annihilate him. Like 7 cost of Nell, like you can't really play against him at all. So it's really good. It's really good. So that's pretty much it for this. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. This is Mark's from TCG Discussions signing off. Laters.